Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today Susan has joined me to discuss a 1977 movie which didn't do too well at the box office when it was released, but has gained a big cult following since then. It's a sport comedy movie starring Paul Newman. There he is there in the poster. We are talking Slapshot. A film about ice hockey, a film about survival, a film about how to gain that survival by being violent.
Yeah, just random violence. Yes.
Random violence, which most of the comedic stuff in this movie is based on.
Yeah.
So let's go over to Susan with our opening thoughts on Slapshot.
Okay, I'm glad you decided to do the hockey 70s version of Ted Lasso. Yeah, this is basically that. It's got this down on your luck a group of hockey players. The thing is going to be sold. It's there's one charismatic central figure played by Paul Newman, and the rest of the cast was fairly unknown, but meshed well. It was a good series of 3 movies. I actually watched all 3, and I have 2 of them actually, because like you do. And I really enjoy watching hockey. Back when I lived in Montana, I used to sneak into our local hockey rink between periods and go watch a game of hockey with the Bozeman Ice Dogs, and for free. I mean, I was sneaking in. I was like jumping the gate and stuff. Anyway, that was enjoyable. It was a challenge. It was they were lived. I lived right behind the Lurkines field house over there, and in my little trailer park. And so yeah, I was poor, and I wanted to watch a lot of hockey, so I used to sneak in. Anyway, this one is about these guys are trying to pull off a win, so that they've all been lied to and told that the team is for sale. And they had just recruited these 3 guys, 3 brothers, the Hanson brothers, and yeah, they had their own like fan club and stuff. They all wore these really big, thick rimmed glasses, and you could tell that they all needed them. And yeah, it was really there was some romance. Like the captain, this guy was, he was cheating kind of on his girlfriend, and his girlfriend had enough of it. And then his girlfriend went over and hung out with Paul Newman's number 1, and she dressed her up and like brought her to the game, and it changed everything. And because of that, he kind of had like a split in his reality, and he just took off all of his pads and actually all of his clothes, down to merely his cup and his jockstrap, and that was it. And that was all there was. And that was rather amazing, because you're on ice.
He wouldn't give in to the violence of what Paul Newman's character wanted him to do.
That's also very true about him.
He was Michael Otten Keene's character, Ned.
Yeah.
Were, by the end of the movie, stuff this. I'm not going to be violent. I'm going to do a different way of attracting attention. Strip off.
Yeah, so it's a fun movie, and yeah, I've always loved it, and I you know I've enjoyed the antics of the Hanson brothers, either themselves or themselves parodied in many different forms.
Yeah.
But this is highly similar to another one that we should watch and review later, and that's Ted Lasso.
Oh,
So yeah, I really think that it would be a grand thing to do. It is a very you know, the violence is enjoyable because it's quasi normal hockey
yeah.
violence, which is quasi normally violent and stuff like that. So anyway, back over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan. Now this will be I would say maybe the third or fourth time I've seen this movie in my life. And the only time I ever did see it was on the TV. So this was after it being a theatre release. And I always enjoyed it. And it's one of these movies that you're quick to forget because because it wasn't successful at the time.
No.
It was always over here in the UK. It was always put on latish on a night. So, and Paul Newman being the lead actor in this, this was when his star rating was sort of waning.
No.
77, mid 70s. He wasn't the big pull for movies. Yeah, in the 50s, 60s, early 70s, he was sort of losing it by this time. But brilliant actor. And it was good to see him in this movie with Strother Martin as well, playing Joe McGrath, his boss.
Yeah.
Because these two actors have appeared in movies many times before. Cool Hand Luke, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid comes to mind. It was good to see them together again.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a good fun movie. The violence is brilliant, comedic violence as well. The Hanson brothers are just out there, played by real life ice hockey players.
Yeah, and real life, and two of them are real life brothers.
Real life brothers, yeah. Because looking up, when we review this, I have to, and Susan mostly does as well, just get a bit of info on the movie. I never realized
because we're able to dig up enough fun stuff even if we don't look it up, right?
Yeah. I mean, and to realize that these are real life at that time in the 70s, where big names in the ice hockey world, was amazing to find out. And then it was amazing to see as well Paul Newman, Michael Onctine on the ice. Actors, they knew how to handle them blades.
Yeah,
because that was definitely them on the rink.
Yeah, there was no body doubles or none of that.
So they knew how to skate.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't realistic in that you don't have the doubles in this, and that makes it more, just good to watch because you knew that was them actors on there. It hasn't dated well, but the main reason it hasn't dated well is because most movies made in the 1970s suffer from the fashion.
Huh.
The 60s, the 50s seem to get by with the fashion because the fashion doesn't alter that much. When it comes to the 70s movies, the fashion does sort of, you can date the movie.
Yeah.
The flares, the long collars. I mean, even the 1980s seems to get away with it.
Yeah.
But the 70s seem to suffer really bad. When it comes to fashion, you really know that the movie is dated a bit. The story doesn't suffer, but
No, because the story was kind of it's kind of its own little genre of
yeah,
of sports sports stuff, and that's that these sports figures are losers and then they're win, and they're about to
totally,
be sold, everything's about to be sold out from under them, and then they win. And
totally agree.
and but the story is eternal and becomes a sort of a thing, but the costumes and the sort of the cinematography also really noticeable,
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
on the next two movies.
yeah. It's that it's merely the 70s do suffer movie wise because of the if it was set in the present day of the 70s, most movies do not date well,
Yeah.
mainly because of the way, as you say, the cinematography, the fashion, and also, well, the what do you call it? The way people wear back then, because there was a lot in this of gay bashing.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
seriously. Yeah,
a lot in this. It wasn't gay; it was faggot.
yeah, I know, right?
Um,
Fuck.
but it's a movie of its time.
Yeah,
They didn't mean any harm by doing this. It was just the way the story was told, the way the comedic thing was happening. Um, it was used a lot in this movie. The word faggot.
yeah, true.
Um,
And there really wasn't any actually queer representation at all in any of the, so there.
apart from, apart from Strother Martin, when Paul Newman's character sort of tried to blackmail him, when he remembered him walking around in high heels, black
Oh
suspenders.
yeah, that's right. There was me, but you can't be a trans representation on film without being filmed
Yeah,
in you know in your
I
real
mean, to me,
costume.
to me, when I was watching this,
Yeah.
because it's been a while since I watched it, um, Ned, Michael Ontkean's character, was falling out with his wife, and Paul Newman's character turned to can't remember what it was now. Said he might be a faggot,
Yep.
and all the way through the movie, nothing's really said anything more about that. And you're thinking he might be,
Yep.
there's plenty in the in the sports genre. There's got to be, and we know there is.
Yeah, I remember Victor Victoria, the bodyguard, played by a guy from Boston, Karras, whose son plays for the New England Patriots, and he apparently played football too. But yeah, he was out, as the character was out in the movie.
I mean,
That was fun.
you could take this movie with Ned's character either way. Either he rekindled his relationship with his wife, because there
Right.
was something going on. There was going separate ways, wasn't they? Or he realised at the end of the movie everything was okay. Looked at his wife, said, "Stuff this. I'm going out there, going to flaunt it."
Yeah.
That could have been his way of coming out.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, but it's never explained.
Right.
So was he coming out, stripping, doing all that fancy dancing?
Maybe.
Who knows?
That's really a good perspective. change. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you think, well, they're not getting on. Why aren't they getting on? You know, I mean, Paul Newman's remark about he could be gay, blah blah blah. Was it hinting, but they couldn't go down that route?
Yeah.
Because of censorship in back in them days. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That could have been he could have been coming out on the ice there.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's still a fun movie and a good violent movie.
So many fights.
It,
The fights that really like were totally shocking for me as someone who has watched a lot of hockey were when the refs where they would check the refs or hit punch the refs or knock the refs down. Oh my God. That was incredibly intense. And then the other time was when they would knock the goalie out, because the goal, I mean, that is an automatic ejection for most games.
Yeah.
If you hassle the goalie, if you beat up the goalie, you're going to end up getting
or annoy the goalie so much that he has a go at you and starts fighting, and he gets sent off.
Yeah,
like Paul Newman's character did when he kept going, just skating by the goalie and saying, "Your wife's a whore."
she's a lesbian.
She's a lesbian. She's a
lesbian. You know, she eats pussy. Oh my gosh, yeah. I thought that's right. See, okay. That's okay. It's usually okay if the goalie takes on just any like a forward player or whatever. But it's usually not done, like the Hanson brothers smacking into the goalie.
Well, they were just alone to themselves, the Hanson brothers. I mean,
yeah.
When Newman's character saw them unpacking the gear, he looked in the suitcases and they brought toys. And he goes storming into his manager's office. They're retards.
Yeah, well, they may have had some intellectual disability there. You know, it could have. They could have. The important thing is when they were three together, when they were operating sort of like it was like ice dancing. They all were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like when the three were skating, two were skating down the ice in the middle and the other side, but then the one was skating down the ice and with his stick up and just smacking the faces of all the opposing team, just all the way down their whole bench.
I mean, the scene where they're in the changing room and the Hanson brothers are putting all the foil in between the fingers. And what you doing? Well, we're fucked.
That's so good. Yeah.
Well, they say it goes from the beginning of the movie where it's just a downbeat team.
Yeah.
You know, where the place to work is getting closed down. The team's going to get sold off or getting, you know,
they're just going to get canceled because it wasn't true. Paul Newman, his character, just lied to his whole team, outright lied. But then that one game where they ended up having all the actual scouts there, that they were that was when their luck was changing. That was awesome.
I mean, Newman saw the potential of getting attention and maybe winning if you become a bit more violent.
Yep.
And then that sort of overtook his way of thinking in every game afterwards.
Yeah.
He just it did really take over him. He just wanted blood. He just wanted violence.
Yeah.
and that's when he started to realise that the Hanson brothers was quite the way forward.
Yeah.
And the Hanson brothers has got nothing to do with the 90s pop trio, by the way.
No, right.
Same hairstyles.
But it was what the actor's name was Hanson.
Yeah.
His name was David Hanson, and then the two brothers were Steve and Jeff Carlson. And
Steve Carlson, David Hanson, and Jeff Carlson.
Yeah, Steve and Jeff Carlson were brothers. And this David Hanson was who they named the Hanson brothers after, right? Am I right? I'm right.
So anyway, any favorite moments? What really stick out in your mind?
Oh yeah, the bus driver taking the sledgehammer to the bus, making sure it looks really rough and scary.
What you doing?
And I like that bit in the locker room where they're putting on their pads and stuff, and then like they were putting the tinfoil on.
Don't you do that?
And let's see, off ice moments. I liked the moment where he's in the owner's where he sneaks into the owner's house. Mm-hmm. and confronts her, and she's like, "Oh hell no, I don't want this anymore." And he was just like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Wow.
He said, "You're fucked."
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I liked was all the fights. I like the one where they all end up in separate little pods fighting the other team, and that was after they had tried to do regular skating, regular violence-free hockey for one period. I mean, they were
the final game, wasn't it?
Yeah, they gave it a chance. They did try to play.
That's when the opposite team brought on all the legends.
Yeah.
The violent legends.
The violent legends, yeah. And one of those, that was funny. And let's see, what else? The other funny off ice moment was when what's her name? Braden's wife, and I really like the one where Braden's wife and Francine, I think her name was, got together and did hair and makeup and stuff like that. I thought that was really fun. It was a very pretty and pink moment, like turning this normal looking girl and just anyway, that was super fun. And and I loved it, all those play-by-plays with the guy giving the interview, and like he was just like, "Oh, you guys are crazy." It was so great. And yeah, that was pretty.
I mean, there's a few what stick out in my mind is the sports commentator.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Sports commentator. You knew from the beginning of the movie he wore a wig. That just stood out a mile. But it was when was it Ned? Was it Ned? That him started to get a bit fisticuffs in the commentary box.
Yeah.
His wig started to come off, and they were fighting on the floor, biting each other and all. And then Joe McGrath drove them out and came rolling in, trying to get the microphone off him. He went flying out the door, down the stairs.
Yep.
Great scene. Also, another scene I love I thought was so funny when they went into one city. We don't need you here, Chiefs. Go away, Chiefs. And the coaches come round with all their asses out the window.
Oh yeah, the mooning.
I mean, they don't make movies like this anymore. The other scene was when was it Reggie, Paul Newman's character, was bedding the woman who was a wife of someone. I can't remember who it was. Was it the
It was the
goalkeeper-
goalie.
the goalie's wife? Yeah, who tells him that she'd been with another woman. And she well, Lady Bed says, "Don't you ever fancy going to bed with another man?" It's just one of those things, you know. It just happens.
Hmm.
Great scene, but yeah, it is a fun movie. I mean, before we started recording, I never realised there was 2 sequels to this.
Yeah, I have this one and then I have the 2 sequels, but I got this from a German. I got this the German version.
Oh, as long as it plays and you can get the English.
Yeah. It's got English as the anyway.
But also as well, what a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
You had who do you have on this? You had Elton John,
Fleetwood Mac, Elton John.
Right Back Where We Started from. Who I can't remember who sang that one, but great soundtrack of the late 70s music.
Yeah.
Um,
and most like when I used to sneak in, sometimes I'd wait for the Crocodile Rock, because that's when everybody was out and doing the Crocodile Rock. And you wouldn't hear you wouldn't see or hear me sneak in at that point. So that was Elton's really, they do play that Crocodile Rock song a lot in between periods. It's a good hyper active tune.
all right.
Yep.
It was just, as I said, this is maybe 3 or 4 times I've seen this now, and it was just fun to watch.
Yep.
It really was. It was only about, was it 2 hours long? I think it was just over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's not action packed. It's not an adventure. It's not sci-fi. This is what I mean. This was made in 1977 when the world went mad with Star Wars.
Yep.
Understandably, this wasn't a big blockbuster movie because the way the world was going, it was all sci-fi. But what one hell of a movie.
Yep.
So, anything else you'd like to say about Slapshot?
I don't remember. 118 minutes. So like you're right, just 2 hours. And
It was long, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so enjoyed it. Glad to see it again. Glad we reviewed it.
This is what we do, Susan.
This is what we do.
We review movies what people can't even remember.
Yeah, so now that we've started down this road, we can do the other 2.
No.
Oh yes, and the other hockey movie that's really good, Miracle.
Miracle.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
Yeah. Let it ring a bell. Let it actually set off the little red light and the buzzer as the puck goes in the goal. Yeah.
Oh.
I like it. These are good movies. Hockey movies are the best. Okay. Like I like football movies. I like soccer movies. I like basketball movies, baseball movies. I like all the sports movies, but I like hockey best because you always have something when you have sort of a switchblade tied to your feet. I mean, there's always a chance of that getting a little out of control when you put like a knife on your feet and then you go, slipping around on it. It's just, yeah. The danger factor is fun stuff.
She's off on a tangent, everybody. She's just going. She's going.
Yeah. And I like it. And these three, just because the Hanson brothers stick together through thick and thin. The actors don't. The hockey players have become actors by the end of the third movie. They are not themselves anymore.
Oh, was they ever themselves at the beginning?
Yeah, who knows about that? But anyway.
Right then. Anything else before we go to final sense, Scott?
No, that's it.
Right. Over to you.
I will give this 3 hat tricks plus 1 out of 10. So that means 10 out of 10. And 10 out of 10 goals, 10 out of 10 buzzer sounds, 10 out of 10 red lights, 10 out of 10 people running up to each other, hugging, 10 out of 10 goalies looking behind them and going, oh no. 10 out of 10 of those things. Anyway, over to you, Lee.
Yeah, well, the main gripe is it's very dated. It's of its time because of remarks of the sexual orientation and stuff like that. So for that reason only, I'm deducting 1 point only. It's still an enjoyable movie. It's to say it's of its time. So it's 9 sweaty jock straps out of 10.
That's a good score.
Yeah, you said
9 of those. Yes, that's a very good score.
What, the 9 or the sweaty jock straps?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. No comment.
No comment.
No.
And I mean, the hockey causes people to act really strange. We have a guy on the Boston Bruins who 4 years ago was almost benched for repeatedly licking people. Like he'd be in the middle of a check, and he'd raise their helmet and lick them, and then I mean, it was just it causes people to act incredibly bizarre.
It did in the movie because the crowds got so crazy.
Yes,
they were baying for blood.
Yeah,
it's so crazy that they threw things at them, and one of the things hit one of the Hanson brothers, and all hell broke loose in the crowd because they jumped over there and went for him.
yeah. The crowd in Bozeman to see the Ice Dogs used to have this place called the Dog Pound, and on the other side of the glass, it was in the bend of the glass, and there was like 3 sections of rabid fans, and they bring these great big huge knotted rawhide bones, and they beat the hell out of the glass, and that was just like and there's a guy who goes to the Bruins games who wears this bear hat and all of this color and bright shiny stuff, and I mean he's incredible. He looks like the QAnon shaman, for crying out loud. He's so interesting looking, and the fans of hockey are gonzo. They're like some, they're as cool as science fiction fans wearing their latest anime outfit. They go for it. And I mean, they do that a little bit in football, but they do it huge in hockey. Basketball fans, they don't wear the costumes and stuff. It's a much more sedate kind of watching. And cricket, the only thing that's different between baseball and cricket is that you get to stretch on the seventh inning in baseball. Otherwise, they're pretty much normal people and looking very, kind of normal. But hockey fans are like.
I did take note that this movie, all the teams didn't have any safety helmets on.
Yeah, that's because they were like a step or two below the NHL.
Also, you don't have to wear them then.
You do kind of now, after all of these concussions in the 80s and 90s. For about the last 20 years, you have to kind of wear a helmet.
That's what I thought. I mean, they're all padded out with protective gear here.
Yeah.
There was nothing there.
30 years ago, or 50 years ago, 30 years before they required helmets, all these people used to play without their helmet.
Wow.
And I don't know. That's why, the whole hockey thing with like teeth missing and faces gashed up, like I'm not kidding. It always it is about the fact that you're riding around on knife edges on a sheet of ice. That right there is dangerous, but the rest of it is dangerous too. I don't know. It's crazy fun.
It was crazy. That's it. It was crazy fun.
I saw the Minnesota Golden Gophers hockey play in the 70s, and I'm pretty sure they only have these little skull helmets on. But I mean I could be wrong. I could just not remember right.
No,
But yeah, it's not something that that was too long ago and stuff like that now.
everything these days is too long ago, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was our little review of Slapshot from 1977. Paul Newman. Paul Newman for me was one of the best movie stars the world's ever produced, because any movie he was in was just a fun movie. So I'd like to thank Susan Killer Backstrom. That's what her name. She's changed her name to Killer now.
Don't poke the bear.
for watching and joining me on this little review. You guys out there, please let us know what you thought of the movie Slapshot. Leave a comment below. If you'd like to join us on this little group we do on these casts, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over the place. Even YouTube, of course, where this video goes up mainly.
Yep.
And on YouTube, please press the bell notification button and you will get a notification every time we put up a video. All we ask of you is, when you'd like to join us, if you'd want to join us, is to be 18 plus, have a laptop, PC, tablet or mobile phone with microphone and
camera.
What do you call this here?
Camera.
That's the word.
Yep.
See, I'm just seeing if you're paying attention, Susan. What's this called here?
It's called a finger. It's going around in circles. I don't know.
Finger. Yeah. So that is it for now.
I wish he knew what that was, because, geez, oh my gosh.
But, yeah. So
too many hits too many hits into the boards.
Oh. I'll be having words afterwards. So I think I've done everything, Susan.
Yep, that's it.
Yep. So until next time, be safe, play safe, and give them hell.